No. Okay, so in order to find this, you have to identify what type of shapes we have. And then you either are going to add them together if the shapes are being combined together, or you would subtract them if you have openings or holes in the shape. Okay? So, there's our first figure.
Dude, quiet.
You want to take a look at this and you want to decide what types of shapes are in this first figure. Okay, so definitely a rectangle and a semicircle or half of a circle. So that means that we're going to want to take the area of our rectangle. Will we add or subtract the semicircle off? Yeah, we're going to subtract half of a circle. Okay? So how do we find the area of a rectangle? Base times height. So what's the base and the height here? Okay, so this would be 30 times 50 for the area of the rectangle. Then we want to subtract off half the area of the circle. How do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. What would be your radius here? Yeah, why is this radius 15? Yeah, the whole length is 30, so half of it's 15, so it's pi times 15 squared. You can actually put that whole string into your calculator if you have the type of calculators like I have, and it will it'll give you the correct answer out. Thanks.
Why does it say why minus half?
Because
So how do you minus half?
you just hit your minus sign and then half pi r squared.
No.
Now, all those calculators you do need to return at the end of the class. Because every day after school, I see 3 or 4 of them sitting over there, and I have to pick them up and put them away.
I grabbed 4. You know what? You said 2 or 3. So
All 4 of those should be returned, Dylan.
That one that you...
All 4 of them.
That's my calculator.
All right, what does this end up giving you?
It's 1146.
Okay, now let's say that like a real number.
1146.6.
Much better.
She was saying 100 and something.
Yeah. This man's number. Oh, never mind. I was just
Okay, so we have 1,146.6 feet squared, or square feet. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, second diagram. What do we have? What types of shapes do we have?
Circles and rectangles.
Circles and rectangles. So what will we do to find the area?
10, 30.
Find the area of what first?
The circle.
Okay, would we, so we can find the areas of the circles. Are we going to add or subtract the circles to the rectangle? We're going to subtract it. So we want to take the rectangle, and then we want to subtract off our circles. And we have 3 circles, so we're going to subtract off 3 circles. So the area of the rectangle is base times height. So how are we going to find the base and the height?
Each circle is 10, so...
Okay, so the radius of this circle is 5. So that diameter would be 10. So it would be 10 by 30. So the rectangle would be 10 times 30 minus 3 pi r squared. So r in this case is 5. So pi times 5 squared.
Well, the diameter, that's only half, so then if you add the other half, it's 10. And there's 3 of them, so 30.
Make sense?
Yeah, is it in?
Okay.
Is it 200?
I got 64.4 in.
Yeah, 64.4 centimeters squared. Make sure you are able to use your calculators correctly on this. Okay, everyone okay with that one? Put it all in.
Centimeters squared.
Yeah, this would be centimeters squared because that's our label.
Just kidding.
Is this okay? All right, let's look at the next example then. There's example 3.
I don't even know if I can draw.
Oh, it's like a chevron. Okay.
Yep, it's kind of like a chevron.
Yeah, this is 4.4.
I should be an artist.
I'm not.
You're not going to take any notes?
Only one out of our group is
Or groupie.
Okay. What combination of shapes do we have here?
Diamond. Two round.
Parallelograms would probably be a little bit more accurate here. Okay, so
You said what? Two shapes.
yeah, so we got 2 parallelograms. So how do we find the area of the parallelograms? Base times height, right. Okay, well, we know the base is 24. How do we find the height?
It's that 1 divided by 2.
Okay, so the whole length is 40, so the height would be 20. And each parallelogram would have the same height. So would they have the same area?
Yes.
Wait, I don't get
So we can find the area of one of them and just times it by 2.
That's the length of the whole top side.
What don't you get?
How is the height 20 and not 24?
The height has to, well, it doesn't matter which one you view as your base and your height.
The base.
It really doesn't. Okay? But the height's just got to form a 90 with the base. So this one, the 20 you would consider the height because that's the one that you kind of draw through the parallelogram with the 90.
This figure's 20.
So you would take 2, the base is 24, the height is 20.
Why do you do two? Because there's two bases.
Yeah, we do 2 of them because there's 2 parallelograms there and they have the same area.
Yep, 960.
Okay. So 960
Inches squared.
inches squared. Is that one okay? All right, next example.
A square and triangle.
Okay, it kind of looks like a sideways house, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a square with a triangle off to the left of it. Well, what am I going to have to do to find the total area here? Do them separately, so find the area of the square. And then find the area of the triangle and add them together. Okay, so first let's focus on the square. How do we find the area of this square?
22.
Yep, 22 times 22, base times height, so 22 times 22. Triangle, 1/2 base times height. So we have the 1/2. So when we focus on this triangle, what would be the base value? So what would be right there? 22. And you're saying the height is what? 20. I agree with that. Why is the height 20?
Because the
The whole
leftover.
length is 42 minus the 22.
Good. The entire length here is 42, so we would subtract the 22 from it to get 20. So the height would be 20.
So you do all of it.
Yeah, so you do 22 times 22, and then you would want to add on 1/2 times 22 times 20.
I got 704.
Yeah.
Yep, 704, and what would our label be?
Squared.
Good. Are those 2 examples okay? Yes? All right, go on to the next ones then. Okay, number 5. Number 5 kind of looks like the Star Trek. Those little things that they have on their shirts.
Oh, is that Star Trek or is that?
That's Star Trek.
Star Wars.
That's Star Trek. Live long and prosper. It's Star Trek.
You like that song?
This is Yoda.
Mr. Thompson likes Yoda. Miss Burns like.
I like Star Trek better than Star Wars, personally.
What's Mr.
Why is that?
What's Mr. Martinson like?
I have no idea. He likes the Cubs.
Okay. Well, they're currently not very good.
All right, what does this look like it's a combination of? Okay, 2 triangles.
Ghost triangle.
How would we be able to split these triangles apart? Right down here. Split them up into their 2 different triangles. So we will then have to take the triangle and add on the other triangle. So how would we find the area of the triangle on the left? Okay, half base height, so half of what? 38 times 14. Our other triangle would be half of 40 times 10, yeah. And you can figure out what this is. Good, so 466, and what's the label? Yep, centimeters squared. That one okay? Okay, what does 6 look like? Well, a cylinder is a 3-dimensional shape, so.
It's a triangle and a circle.
Yep, not a full circle though. It's a half circle and a triangle, so it kind of looks like an ice cream cone. If in ice cream cone, like in 2 dimensions.
No, that's on the floor. That's why it's sideways.
So we need to think about splitting it up. So there we can split it up.
Why are we splitting?
Because we have to find the triangle plus half the circle. 2 separate shapes. Okay, so triangle, we have the formula half base times height. Okay, so the base here would be 3. The height would be 7.
Doesn't matter the order.
Order doesn't matter, you're just multiplying.
So then, how would you do it?
Half a circle, so circle is pi r squared. So what would be the radius? Yep, the radius here would be 1.5 because it would be half of the diameter of 3. So 1/2 pi times 1.5 squared.
I saw it.
So 14.0. Why wouldn't I just say 14 here?
Because it's not exactly 14.
Right, it's not exactly 14. There is some trailing decimals. So 14.0, we don't have a label, so
Unit squared.
square units or units squared. That one okay?
Is that not all?
We got another slide. You guys should rotate who writes down the examples. I know, but I'm saying you could write one and then Dylan could write the second.
No,
I still have to write it down anyway.
Okay. Last 2 examples.
that's a triangle with a rectangle.
Okay, so 7 looks like it's a triangle with a rectangle. Okay. So we'll split it up. Area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. So 1/2, 12 times 20 is not the height of the triangle. Only this is the height.
15.
Good. How do we get that height of 15?
Because of 5.
Good. We subtract the 5 off the 20, so 1/2, 12 times 15. Rectangle's base times height. So 5 times 12 here. So 150 units squared. Yeah, the next one kind of looks like a light bulb in 2D.
Like one of those old light bulbs.
Yeah, like the old ones. You're right. Not the new CFLs. Okay, so we all see the square, right?
Yes.
So we will have a square.
Half circle and a trapezoid.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted. I can't.
Most of you saw the square and the circle, and if you section it off, you can then see that the middle shape would have to be a trapezoid. So a square plus a trapezoid plus half of a circle. Okay, so let's start with the square. How do we find the area of the square? 13 times 13. Base times height. Trapezoid.
Half the height times the base 1 plus base 2. So
Yep.
13 plus
Half times height, and then times base 1 plus base 2. So 1/2.
13.
What's the height? The height here would be this 20. Base 1 and base 2?
13 plus 30.
Yep, 13 plus 30. Oh no, I'm running out of room. And then plus half the circle, so half pi r squared. What would be the radius? Yep, that radius would be 15, so pi times 15 squared.
I'd say 13 plus 30.
Yep.
It is 952.4.
Oh, it's on my list.
So what are we getting?
You're killing me.
Yep. And units squared. All right, is that okay? All right. It's another worksheet for you today.